Interest rates for 3 months in United States of America and for Canada are as follows. For dollar currency and for Canadian dollar currency, for borrowing and for investment, rates have been provided to us. Always logically we understand that the lower is the rate of interest for investment and higher is the rate of interest for borrowing. Spot exchange rate is given to us like Canadian dollar per dollar, and 3 months forward exchange rate is given. Again we have been provided it is Canadian dollar per dollar. Advise the currency in which the borrowing and the lending for 3 months needs to be done for United States company. Take 3 months is equal to 90 divided by 360 days. So over here the question speaks that if at all there is a US company which is considering borrowing, then in which currency it should borrow? Should it borrow in Canadian dollar or should it borrow in dollar currency? And if at all it is considering making investment, then should it make investment in Canadian dollar or should it make investment in dollar currency? The amount is not provided to us in the question, then in that case we can make the calculation assuming $100. That is the amount which you are considering to invest and that is the amount that you are considering to borrow. You can make the calculation. This is a question asked in January 2021 examination for 8 marks in examination. So first of all, let us do answer for the borrowing. Let's say from where to borrow. Is it from Canada or dollar? So friends, over here information is provided to us regarding spot exchange rate 1.2350 slash 1.240 Canadian dollar per dollar. This is the spot exchange rate given, and 3 months forward exchange rate is 1.2550 slash 1.2600 Canadian dollar per dollar. That information is given to us. Now there are two questions provided to us. One is with respect to the borrowing. So suppose we borrow an amount of $100. Language of the question is quite clear, wherein it has been given to us. Advise the currency in which borrowing and lending for 3 months need to be done for a US company. So suppose it is borrowing an amount of $100. Okay. So in that case, principal plus interest. So 100 into. Now friends, you can see that's for dollar currency borrowing rate is provided as 4%. So 0.04 into 3 divided by 12, that comes to 0.01. So 100 into 1.01. This is the way we will have the answer. So it is 0.04 into 3 divided by 12. So $101 is a repayment of the loan if at all you borrow in dollar currency. Now if at all you borrow in Canadian dollar term, then in that case what will happen? We understand that say borrow Canadian dollar, sell Canadian dollar, purchase dollar. In order to make it comparable, you are required to purchase $100 which you have to use in the business. So spot exchange rate, higher amount of the Canadian dollar is required to be sold to purchase a dollar. So 1.24 into 100. So the answer is 124 Canadian dollar. So 124 Canadian dollar is required to be borrowed. So what will happen friends over here? 124 into the rate of interest for Canadian dollar currency is provided to us. for borrowing 4.5 percentage. So it is 1.125 percentage. So in that case, 0.045 into 3 divided by 12, multiplying with, we understand that's the repayment of the loan, in that say the sell of dollar and purchase of Canadian dollar. So I have already written, I'm sorry about there, sell of dollar and purchase of Canadian dollar. So you will get say the less amount. So into 1 divided by 1.255. So the answer is 124 into 1.01125. Whatever is answer divided by 1.255. So the answer is 99.916. 99.92. Let us take. This is the amount of the dollar. So of course, if at all you are supposed to borrow dollar currency, then you have to borrow dollar, then you should borrow in the Canadian dollar term. This is what we understand. Now the next is the investment. As far as the investment is concerned, in that again there are two options. Either you invest in the dollar currency itself, then in that case, investment plus interest. Let us assume that say you invest $100, then in that case 100 plus 100 into 2.5 percentage into 3 divided by 12. So we can simplify the value like this: 100 into 0.625 percentage, 1.00625. So over here 0.025 into 3 divided by 12. So $100.625. This is the maturity amount of the deposit if you invest in dollar currency. If you invest in that is Canadian dollar, then let us understand. Now friends, if at all you invest in the Canadian dollar, then in that case for every $1 you will get less amount of the Canadian dollar. So it is 1.235. This is the amount that you will get. So over here we start doing answer like this: 100 into 1.2350. Okay. Now rate of interest is provided to us. 3.5 percentage is for per annum. So it is 8.875 percentage. So into 1.00875. So this will give us the maturity amount of the deposit in Canadian dollar term. Now at the end of the 3 months, you will convert the Canadian dollar into dollar. So sell of Canadian dollar, purchase of dollar. Okay, this is the forward rate. Sell of Canadian dollar and purchase of dollar. So higher rate is applicable. So 100 into 1.235 into 1.00875 divided by 1.26. So that comes to $98.87. So if at all you are supposed to invest, you should invest in dollar currency. And if at all you want to borrow, then borrow in Canadian dollar currency. So you should borrow in Canadian dollar and you should invest in dollar currency.